Okay, it's working. Hey guys, I've not done a vlog in a while, so I might as well just do this now. I haven't. I thought I'd do a vlog on Batman v Superman since it came out last night. Um, I'm gonna try and keep this concise. I have no idea how to since it's my first time, but we're gonna try anyway. I'll try not to keep it overly negative. So first things first, I came in from the movies with the Superman movies. I know about the past ones, that up until Returns and Man of Steel. I've seen the Batman movies, all of them pretty much. I've seen the Batman animated movies. I've seen Justice League and the Superman animated and the Young Justice series. So that's my familiarity with the characters. Comic book wise, don't know much about them. Just gonna say as it is. Gonna put it out there because it's gonna be simpler. But the best way to go about this is I kind of do this on how I feel after the movie sort of scenario. There's two ways I enjoy a movie, which is entertaining. Did I find it entertaining when I was watching it, and do I feel something after it? A good example is, I guess you could say, it's Inception. I really liked Inception, and I felt something afterwards because I could very easily pick out moments. But that's the way I'm going to be talking about this movie. Expectation wise, I didn't have much of a grand expectation. I had like a very much a fear for the movie because of the second trailer that came out, because it kind of showed off too much. And although the only thing that was surrounding the hype was pretty much the fact it was Batman v Superman, the other thing is that they wanted it to be something similar or in tone towards the Dark Knight Returns, which is fine. So what I am going to try and talk about, without getting too much spoilers, is my thoughts. Um, Firstly, I'll just get it out of the way. The movie is entertaining on a popcorn level, is the way I'd like to describe it. Because of my low expectations on the movie, and the fact that, in terms of the my history with Superman as a character, in terms of its comic book origins, with all those stories, There's a lot I am lacking in certain areas, but I do enjoy superhero movies, and I know quite a bit about the superhero universe anyway, just because of just out of osmosis, as you guess you could say. So I did enjoy the movie. I really liked it. The action was really really good. I liked the setup and everything that they talked about. Most of the movie was pretty much a setup from Man of Steel. They tried to set up the idea that Man of Steel did affect a lot of things in Batman v Superman. The I like the suit. I like the movie version of the suit that Batman uses, and I like the more. It felt more visceral as a movie for Batman. Batman was way more willing to pop some people off, essentially. Whereas in previous movies he was more restrained, or more very efficient is probably the best way to describe him. Efficient at sorry, he was much slow. He was much slower in all the movies because he was being more cautious. Whereas in this case, careful not to kill anyone. Whereas in this case, he was more willing to smash someone's head into the brick wall, sort of scenario. I really did. Because of the Dark Knight Returns, they were trying to get something similar to that in tone. I really enjoyed that aspect of it, uh, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. Like it was. It may have. I don't know. Batman hit the same darkness, but the movie itself did not. Um, the things I didn't like was mainly the CGI. I thought the CGI wasn't polished enough. You could tell, even in the ones in the dark scenes, they felt a bit off. Biggest The defining characters were Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, Superman, and Batman. They were the main four, and everyone else kind of comes in and out. One of them was someone who plays a role, but not as major as the other four. Lois Lane is the instigator for most of the events that happens. Lex Luthor is essentially meant to be the mastermind, and Batman and Superman have their own opinions on things. That's kind of the best way to define it. The If I'm gonna say go watch the movie, go watch the movie, but don't have too high of an expectation. Otherwise, you're not gonna enjoy it. If you think too hard about it, you'll start to see or realize why the movie sort of falls in the long run. The biggest problem I had, or I personally have, is it is a movie that lacks a lot of motivation. A lot of the cases, like there's a although there was tragic events that happened in Man of Steel that connects Batman and Superman, and wants Lex Luthor to get involved. That is the cause for the movie to happen, but it's not the cause for why the fights happen. Um, there's no cause for why. There's no real. It felt. It didn't feel like it earned or properly motivated certain characters. So it didn't properly motivate why Batman and Superman had to fight, or at least Batman from the Batman's end. Superman had a reason, but Superman could have very easily stopped the fight and said, I need your help with this, such and such a thing, in multiple part of the scenes, especially any times where he was pinned down, where he pinned down Batman. Another one is Lex Luthor. There was no reason, with the exception of wanting the alien thing. There was no reason why he was doing it. There was no reason. I think the most of the problems that you have with the movie is that there was nothing clearly defined. It was mostly we were piecing it together as a watcher, but nothing, like it. What should have happened would be there's a reason and then there's things to support that reason. The problem I had more was there was it felt very superficial or very superfluous as a movie, in terms of motivation. So the reason why Batman and Superman had, at least from Batman's side, had to fight or couldn't stop in somewhere in between was really silly. The reason why the one of the weapons which Batman makes gets thrown into the piece of water just for it to be into like a lake type thing, just so it could be pulled out again. Another reason for it to be like it was very unbelievable in certain areas where for example locations like there would be places where you say, oh, but it's lucky that nobody's there right now, and it's like, really, there's a lot of buildings being destroyed there and you're just gonna say there's nobody at work right now. It's very hard to believe because of what happened in Man of Steel. There should have been, it shouldn't have come from certain like governmental or background characters. It should have happened, or to me it should have been come from Superman deliberately trying to push him into an area where there wasn't any thing. And the other thing is, the other point is that they on purpose brought the brawl to Gotham. So that means there's no way of saying that there was no one at the port. There's no way of saying that the damage that the last villain, if you haven't seen the trailers, has doesn't do damage. It seems very unbelievable. The way it ended was really well done. I'll have to admit, the fighting was really good. The costume design for Batman's armor suit, pretty much Batman steals the show. But that's also because like most of the setup was for Batman. Most of the setup was for Batman. It's gonna say as it is. The introduction of Cyborg was really good. At least the short thing that they did. I really enjoyed the world building setup, the interaction between Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent. I wanted to see more of that. I wanted to see more. But what you're seeing is a very short teaser rather than the full idea of what Batman is. He is meant to be essentially a genius, a detective, someone who could have just figured out just like that without too much of an issue. Especially as someone being a veteran, I should have expected him to have had it probably right at the start. I mean, if a reporter can figure out who Clark Kent was in the first movie, I'm pretty sure Batman should have done it in a short period of time. I should have said, I should have thought that would have been the case. And in Superman's case, I liked how they used, he used his powers outside of the suit. It's the same thing. I really wish there was more embodiment of these characters, and that's what ultimately falls for this movie. Pacing wise, with so much going on, there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? It ties. They try to tie too much, and it feels constrained. It feels very squashed. That's probably the best way to describe it. It's a very squashed movie, despite the fact, and they set up so many things and try to put all these things across that they are lacking in a lot of development for motivational. Like it's unlike the Batman of Christopher Nolan, where he is, you see a clear beginning, middle, and end, and why motivations were the cases. You didn't really understand why this was the case here. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. Not gonna deny it. I was happy seeing the movie. I just don't think I'm going to remember much from it later on down the line. So yeah, hopefully that has helped as a vlog. That went on for 10 minutes and I didn't mean for that to happen. So thank you very much. I see you guys next time. If you want to see more of these, put it down in the comments below or like it. I don't know. Just like let me know. I want to know how I can do more of these vlogs, because sometimes feel like that I'm forcing these vlogs out instead of just talking about them naturally. So yeah, thank you. I'll see you guys next time.